The iPhone 8 and 8 Plus aren't all that different from the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus phones that were released a year earlier, but they do bring a few necessary improvements that indeed make them a decent upgrade. Hey, how's it going? I'm Josh from 91 Tech, and today we're going to be taking a look at both the iPhone 7 and iPhone 8. How do they hold up, and how do they compare? Right out of the gate, I would always recommend the iPhone 8 or 8 Plus over the 7. They aren't that much more money, and I think the better speeds and camera is worth the price. That said, the 7 and 7 Plus are still great phones, and I think they're worth the buy. I just think the 8 is slightly more worth it. So that's my overall recommendation. Get the 8 if you can spend a little bit more money, but if you want some more information, stick around here and we'll get right into this. The iPhone 7 and 7 Plus came out in 2016 and were the first iPhones to not have a headphone jack. Besides that, they brought a cleaner design that still looked similar to the iPhone 6, a better camera, water resistance, better home button, and better speakers. The iPhone 8 and 8 Plus came out in 2017 and carried over all of these features while adding a glass back, faster speeds, better camera, and wireless charging. As well as this, a huge reason I say you should get the iPhone 8 is because the base model starts at 64 gigabytes, while the iPhone 7 only comes with 32. That's double the storage, and it can make your life a lot easier down the road, so the 8 is always my go-to choice just for that. More storage is really nice, trust me. So what do these phones have in common? Well, the design is similar in shape, and cases will actually fit both phones, as in, for example, an iPhone 7 case will work for the iPhone 8. Both phones are IP67 water resistant, have stereo speakers but no headphone jack, have the same capacitive home button, and the same size options at 4.7 inches for the smaller model or 5.5 inches for the Plus model. Which size you get should really come down to which is more comfortable for you personally, although there are a few benefits to going for the Plus. Both the 7 and 8 Plus have a secondary camera lens that allows for portrait shots and 2x zoom, although it's worth mentioning that the 8 Plus's portrait mode has a few more options. They also have much bigger batteries, something that I personally really appreciated when I switched from the iPhone 10 to the 8 Plus for a month. The smaller phones don't have terrible batteries, but you aren't going to be getting more than a day out of them. The Plus models also will be a bit faster with an extra gigabyte of RAM, although you probably won't notice much difference in day-to-day use. Again, just get the phone that fits your hand the best, and don't worry about the benefits to the bigger models so much. They're nice, but they aren't necessary per se. And before we get to the differences here, this basically goes without saying, but if you have the iPhone 7 right now, there's no point in upgrading to the 8. If you really want a new iPhone, you should go for the iPhone XR or the XS, as the 8 will barely feel different and isn't worth getting. But if you're on an older phone, then it might be worth skipping the newer models and going for the 7 or 8, so let's continue. The iPhone 7 and 8 share a lot in common, but also have some pretty major differences. The biggest is that the 8 has a glass back so that it can wirelessly charge. It's pretty awesome and looks really good too, but it does make the durability quite a bit worse. If you drop the 8 without a case, it probably will crack, and so if you're someone who hates using a phone case, then the 7 is a much better option with its all aluminum body. The iPhone 8 is also capable of fast charging, but you need to buy the charger separate from Apple, so yeah. A spot of some minor improvement is in the camera. The iPhone 7 and 8 both have 12 megapixel rear main sensors, and photos look great on both. Naturally, the iPhone 8 has a leg up, but you'll be hard pressed to actually see much of a difference from picture to picture most of the time, and you're gonna get great photos on both of the phones. These specific photos here don't look too different to me, but generally I would say the iPhone 8 consistently gets a good photo, more so than the iPhone 7, as you would expect. The iPhone 8 is significantly more capable when it comes to video, being able to shoot in 4K at 60 frames per second as opposed to 4K at 30 frames per second on the iPhone 7. That was a bit of a mouthful. Chances are you won't ever have a reason to actually shoot at 4K 60, but if that's something you want to do, then the 8 or newer are great options. You also have better slow motion on the 8 with the ability of 1080p at 240 frames per second, a huge jump from the 120 frames per second on the 7. So basically, video on the 8 is quite a bit better than on the 7, at least when it comes to options. The selfie camera on both phones is 7 megapixels, and you won't notice many differences between the two. Both can capture a decent photo, assuming I'm not the subject. Moving to performance, we have the A10 chipset in the iPhone 7 and the A11 chipset in the iPhone 8. That might sound like gibberish to you, but basically the iPhone 8 is faster. Both the smaller 7 and 8 have 2 gigs of RAM, while the Plus phones have 3 gigs. If power is important to you, then you're going to want to go for the bigger phone. That said, all of these phones are completely capable on iOS 12 with basically no slowdown ever. Right now you aren't going to notice much difference between phones when it comes to speed, but that won't always be the case. case, and the iPhone 8 is going to stay faster for longer. It also will get an extra year of support. The iPhone 7 should last until 2022 or 2023, while the 8 will probably get updates until 2023 or 2024. If longevity is important to you, the 8 should be the obvious choice, and even if it isn't, I'd still recommend getting the 8 over the 7. The iPhone 8 is essentially the perfected design of the 2014 iPhone 6 and offers just enough of a leg up over the 7 to be worth the price increase. Apple sells the iPhone 7 at $450 new, while the 8 starts at $600. For only $150 more, you're getting a faster device with a better camera and double the amount of storage. For me, that just makes it worth it right there, although if you're more budget minded, buying an iPhone 7 can also be a great option. You're gonna find a lot more deals for the iPhone 7 through contracts, so you might want to go for that. At the end of the day, both of these phones are worth buying right now, and you'll enjoy whichever one you end up getting. If you want to see individual reviews of either device or want to see some more comparisons, I'll have a bunch of videos linked in the description below. What do you think of these iPhones? Which is the better buy right now? Make sure you leave your thoughts in the comments below. Personally, I've never used the iPhone 7 as my main driver, but I did use the 8 Plus for a month, and I really liked it. If you're a fan of the old design, I really don't think you're gonna get anything better than that. The 8 was really criticized at its launch for being too similar to the 7, and maybe that's valid, but in my opinion, it is just better enough for it to be worth the extra cash for most people. If this video helped you out at all, or you found it interesting, maybe hit that like button and consider subscribing for more content just like this. You can follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, links below, if you want some more tech in your life. And with that all being said, I'm Josh from 91 Tech, and I will see you all next time.